War has come to Middle-earth.
This is the work of Sauron.
Our armies cannot defeat him. Once the deceiver obtains a being's trust, he gains the ability to sculpt their very thoughts.
Okay, Elendil's daughter has chosen an opposite side in Númenor's conflict. How is your character reacting to that in season 2?
It's a very good question. I think what the writers have done so well with these characters is initially they've set up the fact that Elendil is a widower. So Eärien has lost her mother, Isildur has lost his mother, and Elendil's lost his wife. So that grief is in there anyway. Then we go to war. We come back, we lose the war, the queen is blind, and the king dies. At which point, I think Elendil just shuts down emotionally. There is no ability to grieve anymore, and that comes into conflict with the amount of feeling that Eärien has. She witnesses in Elendil's loyalty, sense of duty, closeness with Queen Miriel, and so on a personal level, she rejects that relationship. She sees her as a malign influence on Elendil, and that tips her closer to the more nationalist side of the argument as represented by Pharazôn and this man here, Kemen. So this is the huge conflict for Elendil in season 2, is there's love of family, love of daughter, there's love of country, and there's duty to his queen and country. But also confusing the whole issue again for him is his own deep sense of faith and how his faith is going to be impacted by the decisions he's going to have to make. It's very hard to know what the right thing to do is for him. It's beautifully written. I really enjoy playing it.
Well, speaking about Kemen, he was about to destroy all ships to avoid the return of Númenor to Middle-earth. So after being saved by Elendil, what's his take now?
I like the fact that you mentioned that he was saved by Elendil. Very important.
I think that's a minor detail. I don't focus on that bit.
Not Elendil.
I mean, I think that action...
Isildur, yeah, but it's the same family. We've saved him. We've saved him.
You were there.
Yeah, my proxy saved you. Yeah.
I mean, I think he was motivated to do that because he was terrified of losing what he had. The outcome of that, though, what was it? There were no consequences, and that's a very dangerous lesson to learn. I think in between seasons and fueled by this incident where he goes, I can make a huge cock up and there's truly no punishment. He's realized that more is available to him than he has, and he may never suffer a consequence. He can actually make big swings. He can go for it. And so I think in season 2 we see him push the boundaries. He wants more power, he wants more responsibility, he wants more respect. And he's not waiting for it. He's trying to seize it.
It's very interesting with the respect, isn't it? It just can't be gained. It has to be earned. It just literally
demand
can't
it.
Force anyone to respect.
But he's going to try really hard.
And what are both your characters' dynamics in this second season? I mean, Elendil and Kemen.
It's a very, very good question. Do you want to answer that? I mean, I'm happy to go, but go.
We're on opposite sides of this split in Númenor. There's a sort of conservative, tired way of doing things, and there's more kind of a progressive, enlightened approach, forging our own path, which to me sounds great. But you keep trying to drag us back into the past. I think that's kind of the conflict. Would you agree?
That is the conflict, but I think the double conflict is this sense, I hesitate to use the term Nepo baby, but somebody who has been given power by their father, it's outside of their responsibility or ability to deal with it. Mm-hmm. And I think some very poor choices are made by Kemen. However, for Elendil, he cannot rise to the provocation because there's a greater purpose for Elendil and he knows it. And so it's a very tricky thing because also I think if you understand something of the world of Númenor, I would have known Kemen since he was a young boy. Friends of the family. So there's an extra conflict there in terms of their history, I think.
And also speaking about conflict, the relationship of Elendil and his son Isildur. In what point is now?
Well, as far as Elendil understands and believes that Isildur is dead at the end of season 1. So I think the tremendous sense of guilt that he feels in making the decision to go to war and the loss of his son, the effect it has on his daughter Eärien, I think it's almost too painful for him to be able to think of. I think he's closed off that part of himself, and the regret is enormous. And so, yeah, it's just. I think the grief is overwhelming at the moment for him, and I think that means he can't make rational choices necessarily. He's trying to make rational choices, but his heart and his head are in conflict, and his grief is adding to the turbulence.
Okay, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.